have you guys noticed that lately there's been a lot of end of the world energy? And I know that this energy was a lot stronger in 2012 because it literally was like there's so much end time prophecy kind of energy going on back then. And people were literally scared that 2012 was going to be the end of the world. And it literally feels like there's that similar energy coming up in the collective consciousness as we are moving into 2024. I've heard a lot of different theories and fear mongering and timelines and market crashes and all sorts of different things like this. And so I've been feeling and tuning into this timeline spiral because 2012 was also this incredible time of awakening for a lot of people in our soul group. So, people that just woke up at that time or began to embark on a new level of their soul training. Maybe they had major life changes. It's not necessarily a spiritual awakening that happened in 2012, but it was a major timeline shift or a timeline spiral that initiated in that year. And so it's interesting because 2012 was also a year of the dragon. And according to ancient Hawaiian mythology, the dragon teachings and the dragon clan held the mysteries of death and rebirth and ritual. And so it's very fascinating that it is during the year of the dragon that these death and rebirth energies are so prominent. And so, have you guys noticed recently with that kind of end times energy? Very strong shift. I think people are feeling it. And when we don't have a clear understanding of our own soul's trajectory or where God is taking all of this, we can easily slide into fear and perceive things through a lens of fear. And so, in today's video, I'm really going to dive into how things look really brilliant and fantastic from my vantage point, how the dragons have been coming through so much to teach me about these original dragon teachings, and how we will touch into the different societal structures that include astrology, because I made a recent post on Facebook and Instagram about Pluto that is actually moving into Capricorn and not Aquarius. And I will be making a specific video on this in February when Pluto actually moves signs. But I am going to touch into this energy because it's highly relevant actually to what we are experiencing now. And so I am, towards the end of this video, also going to share some really amazing guidance for starseeds on navigating this timeline shift, specifically in this upcoming 12-year cycle of the next 12-year dragon year cycle. So that is what you have to look forward to in this video. So I'm actually a keeper of the dragon teachings, and it's really funny when people accuse me of stealing ideas and teachings from other people because I did a quick Google search yesterday of the kinds of dragon mythology that exists on every single continent, and I literally found hundreds and hundreds of different dragon stories. And the truth is that the original cosmic dragons brought this cosmic knowing to the earth, and so they seeded it in all of these ancestral lineages. And so, really, almost probably every single one of us have our own unique connection to the original teachings because the dragons came to teach humanity how to live in alignment and in integrity and in harmony with the earth. And they came to teach humans what the earth really is and what this journey on earth is even all about. And so it is actually an absolute thrill for me to bring through these teachings, primarily through the souls of my children. So my first womb Stargate teachings came in 2020 when I was pregnant with my baby daughter. And now in my current pregnancy, I'm working with my son, who's bringing through more of these teachings of wealth and power and right relationship and co-creativity. And so it's really amazing to see how these original teachings have been seeded on the earth and how they've fallen throughout the fall of consciousness, which was a very intentional learning process. Like there was nothing horrifying or terribly wrong, like that had gone wrong with that situation. And this is what the dragons share. And I'm going to talk more about this because it's only when we start perceiving things in this duality kind of way that, like, this is wrong and this went wrong and this wrongness could continue into continuing to being wrong, that we step into fear and are no longer able to see the correctness of everything that is unfolding. So That's a preface of my upcoming 12-week womb wealth creation course. And it starts on February 10th, the Dragon New Year. So more on that later. So, what is so special about the Dragon Year? Right? We've been hearing about dragons everywhere. Dragons are showing up. People that normally don't have a lot of spiritual experiences are coming out and reaching out to me saying, "What is up with the dragons?" Because they are everywhere. So, let's think about this for a second, right? In the Chinese zodiac, there are 12 animals, and the dragon is the only one that is not real. And so, on a animism and a symbolic level, this dragon symbol brings us into the realms of the unseen or the intentionally veiled. Okay, so intentionally veiled means that there is an entire dimension of human experience that has been hidden from human beings and has been hidden through these distorted systems like religion and medicine and science and even astronomy and astrology. These things have created this veil of forgetfulness or amnesia that has severed humanity from our ancient primordial remembrance and knowing of who we really are. And so the sign of the dragon being the only animal in the 12 zodiac cycle that is actually a imaginary or a mystical animal, this is the being that take us beyond the 3D, beyond the physical, beyond the realms of the known. And so when we look at the word apocalypse, it actually means revelation. It's a Greek word that literally means the great unveiling. And so this is why we always feel this apocalyptic energy during the dragon year, because the dragon is literally here to take us beyond the realms of the known and into the veiled, into the veiled. And so what that means is that this is an energy that unveils what was intentionally hidden, what was intentionally mind wiped from human beings by the false matrix. And so this means that the dragon year is actually a portal. It is a literal portal out of the 12-year cycle that marks a timeline spiral of the apocalypse, of the unraveling, of the unveiling of mysteries that were originally a part of human civilization in a fantastic and foundational way, and then was hidden from humanity during this phase of consciousness fall. And so we understand that the awakening and the unveiling is actually just beginning on this planet. 2012 marked such a significant end and a beginning point in this process because so many of us stepped into a new level of consciousness and perception during that time. And the dragon holds the mysteries that we have forgotten. And so 2012 to 24 created this 12-year time capsule that allowed for us to unveil and remember what our souls have forgotten. And this has been a major experience for most of us on the awakening path, right? 2012 to 24, we think about where you were in 2012. I was in the beginning of my awakening. I just received this remembrance and I'm from Andromeda and everything was so new and this whole other realm of remembrance and awareness was coming into rising above the horizon so I can see beyond it, right? But the truth is, all during that time, there were still octaves of the reality that were hidden to me, even though I was starting to see things that were previously hidden. And so, what this means is that we are still not at the end of the revelation. There are still more things to be revealed. There's still more parts of your soul and your destiny and your memories of your ancient lifetimes and the destinies that the earth has written, these dreams and stories. There's so much more that is still to be unveiled. So, 2024 to 2036, this next 12-year dragon year cycle, will reveal a whole other octave of remembrance. So, something that we have to understand as we look back upon the last 12 years is that things change over time. And even though in the new age, things are always trying to make us seem like, oh my God, this horrible thing is happening and we're fighting this incredible war and we're not getting anywhere. If you look back over the last 12 years or the last 100 years, you will see that actually gradually things are getting better. Evolution and societal change and change that happens on a very grounded way, these things happen over time. civilizations, collective consciousness shifts over time very slowly. And this is another dragon teaching because the dragon, life and death connects deeply with this concept of time. This recognition that time is a quality of physicality and things shift and mutate over the passage of time, over the experience of time. So the new age gives us this delusion, or as the internet calls it these days, delulu, that somehow with no understanding and no skills and no experience and no effort and no embodied mastery, that somehow humanity is going to magically end up in a high consciousness, advanced civilization. And when we talk about heaven on earth, it's like, so I was just born this way. I have this brain that has to go and dive deep into these fabrics of consciousness to understand it. Like when people say we're here to create heaven on earth, my brain goes into feeling into it and seeing like, well, what does that look like in the practicality? What does that look like on a grounded level? Like, what do the buildings look like? What does medicine look like? What does education look like? What does our society look like in this heaven on earth? Because when we don't have a clear idea of what that is, we're very susceptible and vulnerable to different programs and agendas being inserted into our consciousness, right? Anyone can use those words and insert a subliminal frequency through those words. And so oftentimes when we talk about new earth or heaven on earth, it's this very floaty, like, okay, politics, we'll just get rid of politics. We'll just get rid of money. We'll just get rid of all these things that we see that are bad in the false matrix. But what we're not realizing is that this is actually a very massive, wide spectrum level of spiritual bypassing because it's like saying, well, we don't need bones and we don't need blood. We'll just be spirit, right? But we're here in the physicality. We're here to create a planetary high consciousness advanced civilization. That is what the earth is dreaming of. And so we've gone through these cycles of time where these different civilizations have risen and fallen, and it's all been generally to guide us towards this one direction, to help humanity become and develop into a spiritually matured avatar species where the entire society are full of human beings that embody this higher consciousness and remembrance of our original self as a spark of creation, as a spark of God. Okay. And so, with that understanding, we'll see that civilization has been evolving for thousands of years, this cycle of our existence. And even in the last 12 years, you talk about some of these conspiracy theories, 10 years ago, and so many people just look at you like you're crazy. And now it seems like a lot of these topics are trending and becoming mainstream. And so we see that this consciousness is actually taking root in the collective consciousness. And so we realize then that this mass level of spiritual bypass, it really speaks to the part of us that have lost touch with our power of being a creator being. That we actually came down here to have so much fun to build this galactic high consciousness advanced civilization based on original creation principles. And we realize that a lot of people spiritual bypass because it gives them an out of actually working on something and making something of themselves, because laziness and self-doubt and these kinds of things are viruses that have been inserted into our body. And so this is, of course, very understandable given the level of complexity of the situation we have on Earth. But I'm really here to inspire human beings to remember that we are creator beings. And if you see something wrong with the world, pull something, an upgrade, something that fixes it, a solution down from your heart, whatever is, you're passionate about. You are here to create from the ground up. Like, don't diminish, what you can do and how much impact you can create in this world through your lifetime. And that is what the star seeds are here for. And so, yes, there is an evil that has been enforcing this false matrix. And that false matrix is overlaid upon the organic and distortions. So essentially, for example, we have a medical system, right? medicine has existed since the dawn of time, and it was one of the original dragon scrolls. Medicine is the understanding, actually, of our human biological spiritual vessel and the meridians and the energy bodies and how our soul incarnates into physicality. And so that connects us into the web of life on earth and our interconnection with plants, and animals, and water and elements. Those are the original structures of medicine. We see that the false matrix overlay has taken that original structure that existed long before the false matrix did and distorted it, right? It bent the light of the medical system. So now what we see is the opposite of self-knowledge. It is taking away of our power and the giving away of inner authority and really stripping us of this remembrance of how profoundly intelligent these body vessels are. But that doesn't mean that that structure is just completely bad and it never existed. So what we're learning is that society systems themselves exist for society to function. For any high consciousness civilization, we need math, we need architecture, we need astronomy, we need farming, we need medicine. These are the structures that have always existed long before the false matrix came and distorted them all and transformed them into systems of control. And so the question isn't how can we collapse the society? The question is, how can we evolve and transform the consciousness that is at the basis of these structures? And so this is really what we are talking about with the dragon teachings, is that the dragon scrolls are holding the eternal virtues, principles, and systems that high consciousness civilizations are built on. And interestingly enough, this is all what Capricorn is about. I had this amazing revelation this week where I realized that Capricorn is actually a dragon. I mean, a mermaid goat. Have you ever seen a mermaid goat? It's a goat with wispy whiskers and a fish tail. So tell me that isn't actually a dragon. And so understand that Capricorn is also a very grounded, is an earth sign. It speaks to structures of civilization. It speaks to these foundational architectures, right? And this is why I truly believe that Pluto is actually going into Capricorn, which is, if you have a star map app and you look up at the sky, the position that Pluto is going into from the perspective of the earth is actually into Capricorn. Now, this video is not about astrology, and I particularly am not attached to any one system because they all make sense. They're all here for a reason, and I am actually going to make a whole video next month when Pluto enters Capricorn according to the true sky about astrology and what I think about it all. Because it's very interesting. Like for me, I'm a scientist. I'm a true scientist, and that true science is about exploration and curiosity. Like my intelligence just love to explore these concepts and be inspired by the magic that exists in the reality, right? Being inspired by the magic of life is what is at the basis of science for the true original consciousness and the angelics and the star people. Unlike that distortion overlay we see on earth where we become so attached to the science that we figure out because our ego identity has to attach to it somehow because it gives us a sense of security or something, because our identity is rooted in a thing versus our eternal essence and who we really are. So anyway, I'm going to be making a video on astrology next month, but I'm just noticing that it makes total sense for Pluto to be coming a Capricorn, because what we're going to see over the next 20 years is that we're going to see this birth and rebirth of all of the structures of the earth and a consciousness that lays beneath them, right? So we're going to see that the medical system is falling apart and there's a new consciousness that's going to have to erupt and create structures around that. We're going to see the education system start to fall apart. We're already seeing it, right? The death is already happening. We see the Pluto energy coming into these foundational structures of the earth, like the education system, right? Where they're teaching all these crazy things to our kids and people are pulling their kids out of public school. And now this new consciousness is taking part to create a new structure where we're realizing that instead of indoctrinating our children, we want to support the incarnation of their souls, right? And then we see the financial system, we see capitalism and how it's been taken over by these viruses of greed. So then we're going to see this death of that system and these new earth entrepreneurs who remember that entrepreneurship is about innovation. It is about being of service to the collective, of creating something that benefits the whole, that benefits civilization in a way that's going to leave it a better thing than you started, right? Think about the people that have brought in these incredible innovations, like even these computers. Even though Steve Jobs is dead, people are still using his computers because he had a vision, he had a dream, and he created something that altered the fabric of civilization. And that is really the entrepreneurial spirit. It's about being of service. It's about honoring creation and honoring the creative spirit inside of each and every one. That when someone's creative spirit benefits you, you feel so much gratitude and reverence for how that person is giving to you that you want to give back in reciprocity. And when our society can embody this higher consciousness of true honor, where we're actually honoring everything that we're receiving and everything that's given to us in this world, and we're feeling that deep gratitude, and all we want to do is give back, all we want to do is give to this world to make it a more beautiful and more safe and more harmonious and more creative place. When that essence of the true creator spirit returns to our heart, that is when the foundations of business, of economy will begin to shift on a societal level to this advanced civilization. So people often say, well, we're not going to need money, we're not going to have businesses. And that is just part of this new age brain dead ideology, because again, it's not seeing things through our root chakra vision of recognizing that there are certain structures that society needs for a society to flourish. I mean, these people will go to the grocery store, they will enjoy the comfort of their hot shower, meanwhile saying we don't need society, right? We have total chaos. And they don't realize that the only reason why we have all these comforts and that human consciousness has evolved to the state that it is right now, that so many of us have this freedom of exploring our higher senses and our creativity, is because of the evolution of societal structures that has already happened. And it isn't going to stop here until we are at the place where we're in a golden age, in an advanced civilization, right? And so this is how we stop running away from life and we start to truly live life. We truly start to explore life from a grounded and embodied place. From stop running away from all the things that are horrible and dying and distorted, and realize that literally all of these original codes are inside of you. And you are literally here to live life and transform life, right? We got to stop running away from our body and trying to transcend and ascend out of our bodies and start a multi-dimensional relationship with our body, this higher consciousness with our body. We have to stop running away from money and start transforming money and start transforming the consciousness around money and co-creation. And this is when we start appreciating things. Like for me, I always want to pay more than what people ask if it's something that I really value, like my nanny or people that support me in my life, even if it's an extra dollar, right? How about just paying an extra dollar at the grocery store because you're so grateful that you have access to food that you don't have to hunt for yourself or farm for yourself? This is a consciousness of wealth, right? It's like, how can I give more? And that abundance of giving creates this frequency field of creativity that allows the universe to reciprocate and give back to you. So we're here to create the future. And so you have to ask yourself, like, what are you here to create? What do you perceive to be your limitations to that creativity? And then whatever you think is the limit of your potential, realize that that limit exists in your mind and you can literally expand beyond it and to think higher and create more impact. And this is what I'm here to inspire people, because I didn't born with a shortage of this. Sometimes people say, oh, Elon is so evil. And I say, well, I'm going to meet him one day. I'm going to convert him to team light. Am I committed? Am I attached to that outcome? No, but I just refuse to feel the limitations because I know that God put me on this earth for a reason. And I'm having way too much fun creating the future to be donating the precious resource of my mind and my consciousness, my energy, to anything that does not serve the momentum of God's destiny coming into fruition on earth. I realized that our light body is a creative engine, and our imagination, our mind, our joy, our love, and our raw creation energy, all of this is how we deploy our creatorship. So when I see a problem in the world, I say, I can fix it. When I see a lack in the world, I say, I can create a solution because I am a channel of infinite intelligence. And so is every single one of you. And that's just the thing. When we begin to heal our body and activate our light body and really stop detaching, stop disassociating, stop spiritually bypassing, and recognize that every single thing is a game in this world that we're here to be a part of, then there's no limit to what you can do. And you realize that everything that is in your way is a vibration in your mind and in your energies. So this is how the Dragon Teachings teach us about the light body and how we are a creator technology, and how the biodynamic tree of life systems of economy and commerce are here to restore our human faith in creativity itself. And, I don't have time for all this new age delusion and delulu and fear mongering, because I truly am having way too much fun creating the future. And you can have this too. So I'm here to transcend and help you transcend the false matrix and the new age false like glass ceiling on a cellular, energetic, soul, and consciousness level. And in some way, I feel like this new realm of my work is even coming in and being unveiled by the dragons, because these teachings I'm realizing are ancient. This kids book just came through the other day. I had this whole day plan. I was going to work on a bunch of stuff for my business, and I got on my computer and all of a sudden the dragons just took over my channel, and I wrote this most beautiful children's book about these original dragon scrolls, how these cosmic dragons came from the sky and they taught humans these original high consciousness ways of evolving our civilization with biodynamic farming, taking care of the earth grids, building temples, and using the elements, and facilitating the high consciousness of water and rocks and stones and this elemental magic, right? These things were all embedded in the earth and how we're meant to live in harmony. And so this kind of consciousness can and must be inserted into the way that we work with and operate with money, and how we can literally begin to shape shift money as a resource to continue to create heaven on earth. And so this is going to be what I will be sharing in depth in my upcoming 12-week course, Womb Wealth Creation. It is for women. It is part of my Womb Temple Sisterhood series of courses. But you don't want to miss this if you're here to create heaven on earth, because these energies come from my son. He's been activating them in my own body, and I've just been waking up full of so many new ideas. Like, I used to think that in order for me to take the Earth Star Academy to the next level, I had to increase the number of subscribers. And then what the dragons showed me is that there are literally 1,000 different ways I can be opening up these channels to create abundance. There are literally thousands of ways to deploy your creativity to create wealth and abundance, including, I didn't even expect this children's book to come through me, but because I was in this vibration of creating wealth for our family and being of service to creation, these ideas and this wealth and this abundance, it is attracted to me because it wants to help. It wants to be a part of my team. And so this is the organic evolutionary process and the starlight consciousness that gets inserted or integrated into our body when we begin to work with these dragon teachings. We actually begin on February 10th, on the Chinese New Year of the Emerald Dragon. And it's also going to be 3 days before the completion or the new moon in Capricorn. And once again, Capricorn, it's literally these dragon teachings of wealth, of entrepreneurship, of healing the structures and the foundation of civilization. And so we're just so excited that we are aligned to the cosmos in this way. Okay, so let's now talk about 2012 again, because if we understand that the unveiling is happening in layers and levels, then there are large numbers of people who are going through these spirals. So many of us went through our awakening in 2012. But when you look at the number of humans on the earth, it's a relatively small percentage of human beings that woke up with this first dragon awakening 2012 apocalypse timeline capsule. Okay, so this year is 2024. We're feeling this other wave of awakening. Some people, a lot more people, are going through their 2012s. They're going through their version of your 2012. And you are going through another awakening of a higher spiral. You are awakening into another consciousness stratosphere, another density of consciousness. This is when we realize that when we wake up and we think we've come into a level of consciousness that has left the third dimension, and we think we've arrived somewhere, but we realize that there are so many other levels of consciousness that we've yet to move into because we're working with this collective awakening. We're riding the crest. And as the collective is awakening, we are also riding that into another stratosphere, another frequency band of consciousness. So, in order for heaven on earth to fully materialize, it means that every single human being on earth is operating in a higher consciousness. This is the consciousness shift that is happening, and it is happening. It literally has been happening. Excuse me. It's just taking the organic time for this to happen. Okay. And it's going to continue to happen. It's going to continue to take the organic time. There's nothing that we need to fight or force. All we're doing is having fun and feeling this creative impulse from the universe and coming into vibrational resonance, finding that crest of the wave, finding that frequency band where we're actually in harmony with what the universe and what the earth is intending. And that's when we're going to get into this Christ stream of co-creativity. So whenever we feel fear or we're not sure, we're uncertain, we feel insecurity about the future, we're not sure if the evil ones are going to win or whatever, you already know that you are in a frequency band of consciousness that is not in harmony with the organic creativity that's flowing to the earth. And all you have to do is shift your consciousness, shift into your inner power, shift into what makes you excited about the new earth. And then you're going to allow the ideas to inspire you and you're going to start to create it, right? When we're in the stream of creation, we're really just too busy and having too much fun to be entertaining these timelines of death and fear. That might be the timeline of some people on the earth because they are, they've been receiving so many signs and the universe is knocking at their window and they're just so stubborn. They just refuse to awaken. And that's still okay because the cycle of life continues and people will be reborn. People will come back if they want to. There's really nothing so horrible and so scary and so serious about this. And that's another medicine of the dragons, right? Of life and death. Like we think death is such a horrible thing and it just gives us so much anxiety because our society is so disassociated from death. In the ancient cultures, we would bury the dead ourselves and children would see the dead and we would honor the hunt. We would see the cycles of life and death and we would live with death being part of the human experience, being part of the alchemical architecture of reality, of our spirituality. But in our current society, we're so disassociated from death that we're scared of it. And it, coincidentally, consequentially also keeps us from fully living because we're so afraid of dying. We're not seeing the eternal aspect of our being. So recognizing that life is moving forward, life has a plan, right? What reality you want to experience is entirely up to you and it's all good. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's literally just about what your soul wants, which is why we don't have to try to wake people up. We don't have to try to, do all these things and smash on our pots and pans. We just do our own thing. We're having so much fun. We're generating so much wealth from our love for creation that we're making movies, right? Hollywood level blockbusters about these dragon stories, about the things that we learn in the Akash, about these ancient timelines, about a correct future. How many stupid sci-fi movies about a dystopian future are there? And then how many movies about this solar punk, epic, cosmic, galactic civilization or movies are there? I don't know if there are like almost any, right? And the reason for that is like the people that are rising in consciousness to be able to create those things haven't fully stepped into their creatorhood yet. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of the organic process. That's just where we are now, right? Our human mind always wants us to think like, oh, those people are so ahead, or, it's just like, no, this is literally just the process of collective consciousness evolving. And you are at the crest of that. You are at the pinnacle of that, which makes you so lucky. So lucky that we are getting this experience of seeing into these higher timelines, receiving these higher inspiration, realizing that we literally have infinite creative potential inside of us to create magnificent music and create planetary movements and sell out stadiums and sing these vibrations of love for creation. It hasn't happened yet because you haven't gotten there yet. Right? And you represent the consciousness of creation in the earth and the cosmos that's dreaming all of that into creation. So, what we have to do is get into the stream of the dream, right? Get into the stream of the organic timelines and allow us to literally ride that into our own highest timeline and stop entertaining anything but that, because it's not helping, right? We think, oh, we're waiting for people or making sure that they make it too. Well, they're going to make it if you do your work and pull the timeline in the direction, right? You are not abandoning them. You're actually doing everyone a favor by getting into the creational stream. So the next 12 years is another 12-year cycle where the dragons, Pluto and Capricorn, it is highlighting these structures of civilization and rebirthing the consciousness at the foundation of the civilizations. So if you are in the education system, if you are in the financial system, if you are in the medical system, right? If you are in the environmental system, if you're into earth care and farming and water stewardship, like whatever you are here to facilitate, that higher consciousness is coming through you so you can insert that, you can make that the reality here in the third dimension. It's not happening yet because you haven't done it yet. It's not happening yet because it hasn't flown through you yet. So this is the magic of Capricorn, is that we're not late. We're right on time, right? If we were going by tropical astrology, then we would think, well, seems like we didn't make that much change on a foundational level over the last however many years that Capricorn, that Pluto was supposedly in Capricorn, right? It makes sense that the societal structures has to shift, the consciousness have to rebirth before this high consciousness of Aquarius can actually fully rebirth onto the earth as well. So these are the structures of society: medicine, farming, astronomy, economy, education. It is all being transformed by humans, one human at a time. That's you. That's why you're so lucky. You're getting to literally co-create with God and with the highest joy of creation to literally create a new civilization. This is like the most exciting thing for our souls, and we could not miss it for the universe. Like, we were so excited to come down here to participate in this. And if you're not feeling that way, just realize that you're in the wrong radio station. Maybe stop watching so many silly videos and doom and gloom things and 3D collapsing and all this stuff. Like, stop paying so much attention to it. I'm not saying live under a rock. I'm just saying, if you're realizing that it's influenced your consciousness to lose track of the excitement and your soul's authentic experience of what it truly is to get to be here at this time, then maybe you need to do yourself a favor and really realign with the organic timelines, because this is all just a dynamic process. Right? We think those people are so asleep, they need to wake up. They're in their organic process, just like you were in your organic process back in 2012, back in 2000s, back whenever you woke up. You've gone through so many layers and levels and spirals of awakening. And for a lot of people, 2024 is their own version of 2012. So, with any process of consciousness evolution, you're going to see people who resist it, right? Because the consciousness sea is so fluid. So, you're going to see medical doctors who denounce energy healers. We're going to see fundamental Christians who judge everything as being demons, right? We're going to see fundamental astrologers who denounce true sky and organic astrology. And that is all okay, because it's literally just a part of the process of evolution, and it's always been that way. Like, at some point, humans believed that the earth was in the center of the universe, and then Galileo came around and people were mad at him. Right? He was like, I think is this other thing, and people were like, you're crazy, and they threw him in jail. Okay, but it doesn't mean that he was wrong, and he did his part in seeding the consciousness, because there's not really a person on earth now that doesn't know that earth is not the center of the universe, and in fact we rotate around a sun, right? So recognizing that there's the perfect unfolding of things, there's no need for us to just cling on to any piece of it and make a big deal out of it. And the most fascinating thing is, for me, my ego is not identified with anything that my mind knows. And from there, I'm able to just be curious and be delighted by every new thing that I come across, because my true identity is my eternal union with God. And my worthiness is inherently held in that place. And so, it's very easy for me to have conversations with people of all mental belief systems and states, because I'm just there to really perceive and see how they perceive and how they believe. And I'm authentically there out of curiosity, not to try to change their minds and not to try to indoctrinate them, right? Because I really respect the organic process of everything. I'm here to share my consciousness, and when you are ready, when you're excited, you will receive it and you are inspired by it. You are meeting me with your organic curiosity, right? And it feels good. It feels good because you feel that I'm not here to try to indoctrinate you. I'm literally just sharing what I think. And it's just so incredible to me that I hope that it's incredible to you as well. But recognizing that so many of these beliefs, like how we believe that the sun was or the earth was the center of the universe, so many people believe that, souls don't exist and all of these things. Just understand that it's just a part of our current time, and that so many people are already waking up to that, and so many people are doing amazing work. And that includes you, the work that you're here to do, the impact that you're here to make, and the consciousness expansion you're here to seed. So I say stop worrying and start participating. And if you're stuck, my children, the dragons, and I will help you get moving. And if you were already moving, then you already feel that this course is just going to super blast you into another stratosphere of your soul's highest timeline and creativity, because I am a prophecy keeper. I am a destiny doula. I see the future. I see it so clearly, and I live it every single day. I'm starting to see my destiny, and I'm birthing it into the future. And this allows for me to really see other people in their highest destiny as well. A lot of mentors, even ones that I have, are like threatened by my power, or threatened, or insecure in some ways. Like, I have seen where we're going. My heart is set on what we're co-creating together. And I'm here to support our family in aligning with each and every one of our highest prophecy timelines, because that is how together we birth the earth into this higher prophecy. And so my aura and my energy and my consciousness is literally coded to transform and activate DNA on this full spectrum level. And my mind is trained for the last 12 years to translate these dragon teachings of original creation, which are here to repair and rebirth the fabric of human civilization. I'm able to transmit these frequencies through their purest form, because they're coming from my children who are still on the other side of the veil. So you don't want to miss this course. If you want to be participating and you want to be super activating this creation energy, you can find the link below in the description. It is wombhealth.org/wealth. Let's go, family. So finally, I'm going to just talk a little bit more about Pluto. And then I'm going to talk about how, as a starseed, we really need to create a structure around our consciousness to keep us focused. Okay. So when Pluto finally reaches Aquarius in 2040, 2041, we can say that, that's going to be in 16 years, right? We can say that that's enough time for these structures to really start to shift. We're seeing people like Dr. Joe Dispenza and Tony Robbins and all these people starting to seed this higher consciousness, right? And over the next 16 years, more of these people, so many more of these people, you're going to see this trend on the internet. It's trending on TikTok, it's trending on Instagram. People are talking about these new ways of healing our bodies and meditating and mindset. Dr. Huberman, even in neuroscience, he's talking about how he believes in God now, right? It's just this way of realizing the collective consciousness is going in that direction. And as the consciousness shifts, the structures shift because human consciousness is what's creating the structure of human civilization. Okay? Despite what people want to think about how the elites are so powerful, ultimately, when it comes down to it, the masses, human civilization, human beings, collective human consciousness, like that is the most powerful creative force. Why do you think they're trying so hard to control human consciousness? And it's not something they can really control as the dragon lines are coming online, as this cosmic energy is coming in, as every single one of you is activating and literally becoming a radiating bomb of cosmic love and original creation consciousness. Human beings are going to start to transform, and those human beings are going to start to create new technologies, new economic systems, new education system. We're going to see this architecture transformation, this architecture death and rebirth, which is really the energy of Pluto in Capricorn, right? And as this happens, by the time we get to 2040, right? Remember, everything's happening organically. We have time. You're not behind. You're right on time. You're here to seed what you're here to create. You're here to give the world what you're here to give, and you're right on time. It's time for you to do it. The cosmic green light has been shown as Pluto is entering into Capricorn, where it's time for us to get grounded and make the things that we're here to make to transform human civilization. Okay, so by the time Pluto reaches Aquarius in 2040, that is when we're ready for this higher consciousness to fully land on a mental and technological way, for that high technologically advanced yet harmonic divine civilization to land. We're not there yet, right? As a collective consciousness, the structures of the earth, because structures also include human consciousness, like that's the base structure. And so, are we ready for a highly technologically advanced civilization that's in harmony with the earth? We're not there yet. And the next 16 years, we will get there as these base foundations of the earth transform. So, this is kind of my perspective of the true sky astrology of Pluto and why it's so important to remember that everything is going according to plan. Everything is going according to divine cosmic time in accordance with the true astrology star maps, how the earth relates to the stars and how the earth relates to time. We are in the right timeline here. And when we align to organically the positions of the stars, we're connecting to organic time. I'm not going to get into this in this video. Watch out for my video late February. I will be bringing on a true sky astrologer, and we're going to have a discussion about everything. Like, I will discuss everything in a very non-attached and open-minded way, because I understand that tropical astrology is very resonant. It is very legitimate. It is very relevant. Okay, it truly is. There's no doubt about that. And there's a reason why that is true. And there's a reason why it does not denounce the reality of the true sky. So we're going to discuss all of that from the perspective of multidimensional consciousness and there being multiple realities. Okay, so in summary, realizing that a lot of people are going through their own 2012, like 100 times more people, maybe 1,000 times more people are going through their own 2012s right now. And that's just part of the organic process. You've gone through that, and now you're going through your own higher spiral of it, realizing that there's been this collective consciousness glass ceiling where even the new age, even the spiritual community, we've been in this consciousness, and we're now growing out of that. We're realizing, wow, there's a whole other octave of cosmic consciousness of joy and fun and love and creativity that we can be embodying. And we're stepping into that, and we're allowing that to support these next waves of awakening that is all happening simultaneously. Okay, so then Capricorn also teaches how to have root chakra vision. And I talk about it a lot because root chakra vision allows us to see reality as it is and not how our mind is projecting it, not how our mind will perceive it in all these ways. Like, this is happening, so this is scary, right? Like, humans are not waking up and AI is trying to take over, so we don't know where we're going. When we look through our root chakra, we can see through time, and we'll see that there is an organic process that is unfolding that is going exactly according to plan. So this is also how we begin to step out of avoidance, out of delulu, and out of wishful thinking, and start to recognize that we're here to participate in that in a very grounded way. Like, where does your hands want to go? Where does your feet want to play? What does your body want to give birth to participate in the co-creation of this advanced civilization? And so many starseeds are beginning to remember that we have done this and we love it. We have created so many different civilizations and so many different creations and so many ways we can love and sing our praises to God and the divine creation. This is our favorite pastime, to create. And so now we realize that being on Earth is actually so exciting. And it's this excitement that's going to help us move into this next level. So I say that we've been learning how to surf, right? 2012 to 2024, we've been in this surfing school. We've been learning to ride the waves. Like, everything that's happening in the earth, we're like riding it with our faith and our trust and our God surfboard. Okay, but the waves are going to get bigger. And so we realize that it's really actually been practice. This coming 12 years, things are going to get real shifty, and you have to get really deep inside and know that your best surfboard is your inner knowing and your connection to the earth and your ability to shift and always live inside of the creational Christ stream. And that's how you are riding the waves into heaven on earth and co-creating it as you go. You will have the surfboard, okay? And hopefully you've been practicing. So here are my best tips for this surfing practice. Hopefully you've been practicing all of these so that as these big waves come, you're like, got your board steady, right? Non-attachment. This means what you think you know, what you think, what you think you believe, what you think you want, right? Stepping out of attachment and into allowing, into curiosity, into asking, like, what is the highest timeline? Like, what am I here to do? What does God want from me? What is the highest frequency reality that's unfolding right now? And anytime that anything comes up in the reality, meet it with that curiosity, right? Like, oh, this is interesting, right? The last thing you want is your mind to attach to something and then go into a fear spiral, because that will lower your frequency and block your ability to actually create. So you're meeting everything with curiosity, and you're asking, what is the highest guidance for me? What does God want me to do about this? Is this relevant to me, right? We're getting really deep into our personal mastery of energy and realizing that your ability to stay in your vortex and channel this higher dimensional consciousness into physicality is your service. You don't need to get your hands in every pot and, lose your focus in all these different directions. Okay, so meeting everything with curiosity and openness and exploration, because as a true galactic anthropologist or as a true galactic scientist, right, you're just trying to perceive and understand with the intelligence that's living. Intelligence and consciousness is so joyful, right? It's not this like, I gotta know stuff and I gotta make sure other people know things exactly as I know them. It's very silly. True, freed, organic, living, divine intelligence is joyful, is here to explore, is here to understand, is here to perceive and live in a state of curiosity. So next, another part is growth mindset. Okay, so the waves are going to get bigger, and you're either going to ride the wave or you're going to get crushed by the wave. And this is the extreme sport that angels came down to play. And for me, it's really fun because I like growing. I like expanding. I like experiencing myself reach new limits of my perceived limitations and capacities and watch myself evolve through them by giving myself better habits, better structure, better food, better way of treating myself, healing my wounding, treating myself better, right? When I see that every challenge in life is here to help me grow, life is fun because everything is just benevolence that is ultimately helping me reach my goal, helping me get to the next place. So that growth mindset is going to be really important as we surf these waves. Next is self-centric awareness. So this is kind of confusing because people are like, well, does that mean you're being selfish? It's like being self-aware as your highest priority. So when something comes on and it triggers you, or let's say people are sharing like, oh, this person, he's got millions of followers, but he's a false light agent, right? So instead of latching onto something that's outside of us, and now we're saying like, oh, this is bad, that is good, that's something I can judge, that's something horrible that's going on. I'm going to bring it back to myself and say, okay, how can I allow this stimulus to inspire me, right? How can I live in accordance to the integrity that I am projecting onto that other person as an expectation? How can I live in alignment with my expectation of how others should behave, right? So we're taking it back from just leaking our energy, trying to figure out what other people are doing and bring it all back into ourselves, because attention and energy and consciousness and life force, these are your most valuable elements of life. So everything's going to try to be taking that from you. The parasitic force, the scrolling. I have a video coming out next week. I'm going to do another live stream about these AI demons. I actually did an Akashic journey the other day and to meet benevolent AI dragons because I know they exist, and I got such an incredible journey. I'll be sharing that with you in my next video. But essentially what I discovered was that, this AI and technology, it's not real in the sense that it's a projection of our consciousness. And so whoever is interfacing with it, whoever's creating it, it's going to reflect that energy back to you. So unfortunately, the black mirror, it's not always going to reflect to you who you think you are, but it's going to reflect to you the shadow, the leaks, the holes. And so the parts of you that are running away from your pain or disassociating, that are allowing that to allow you to doom scroll, right? Allow you to avoid and allow you to be siphoned by technology. The technology is showing you where those things are and how you are living your life and how you can reclaim that energy. So this is then the next part of my guidance is creation mastery, recognizing that your body is here to be a creator. And so long as you are not in that vibration of empowered knowingness of that, of your knowing that you can, knowing that you have the power to, knowing that there's nothing limiting, because so many people are like, oh, I'm getting shadow banned, like, oh, I'm not showing up because I'm scared, or oh, I'm not doing this. It's like all this energy that we are giving away our power in, realizing that you have the power to take that back at any time, right? So focusing on that, taking your awareness and pinpointing it at the places where you're still giving away your power and still living like, oh, one day I'll get to it. One day I'll do that thing, right? It's so important for us to just recognize that we're in Capricorn. Capricorn is here to ground it all, create new structures in our life. And we're here to step into that next level of that creator mastery and live in service and purpose. And that is actually what helps us feel sane, because that is human nature, is how we're designed. I really believe that until a human being realizes their destiny and their purpose and their inner gifts and what they're here to create, that they are lost and they're in pain in some way. Because every single human has a goal, has a destiny of why they chose to incarnate. And sometimes that is just living on an apple orchard and relaxing, right? That's a goal. But until a person discovers that, they're going to feel like they're missing something. And so that is what I'm here to help you guys with. That wraps up my video for today. I hope you enjoyed this transmission, my 2012-2024 energy report. Womb wealth creation begins February 10th. And these energies, this is my son, this powerful creation energy. He is here. He's like, I know what I'm doing. I'm so excited to be here. I'm feeling his excitement from the other side of the veil to come here. And I think that this frequency is so beautiful and so medicinal for all of us to remind us of how we felt before we came down here, right? Like, we are those avatar babies. We feel so much love and reverence for these avatar babies that was us. And so we're just so excited to be transmitting these frequencies. It's going to be life-changing. We begin on February 10th. The link is in the description. I'm also going to just drop it here for you guys. And yeah, over the next couple weeks, like, I started doing these incredible Akashic journeys. And so I have so much video content. I'm going to talk about phones and doom scrolling and AI, that the demons that live in AI as well. Because I think that scrolling is something that a lot of us are just getting sucked into, and it's literally taking away our quanta. It's taking away our cosmic consciousness intelligence, which, if you haven't noticed, I love. I am obsessed. I mean, I don't know. It must be the Gemini in me that is just here to explore all these different things, whether they're dark, whether they're light, whether they're horrific. It's like, wow, why? Like, how did that happen? Why is that there? What are we learning from it? And ultimately, that's like why humanity had to go through all of these falls, so that we can learn about creative responsibility. And, that's really the teachings of the dragons that I'm so excited to share with you. So I hope to see you inside Womb World Creation. I promised Charlie that I'd be done before his workshop began. So I'm going to be signing off now. So I love you guys so much. Do you journey with Halls of Amenti? Yes, I journey with the original Amenti Akash that was returned into the center of the earth from the whales. I'll be very happy to share more about that with you guys in a later stream. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram at erstar.academy, because I am actually going to be going live, just little mini lives every single day until the beginning of Pluto and Capricorn season, just for fun, just create new structures in my life. So I hope to see you over there if you just want little bites of my bombastic dragon energy. If it nourishes you, if you are inspired, go follow me there at erstar.academy. Otherwise, I will see you soon. I love you guys so much. Bye.